Hello and welcome back to PSN News. I'm Carly Knowlton. Tonight we are very excited to sit down with Mike McDermott, Penn State's former Nittany Lion mascot. Mike, tell me how it feels to be such a big part of Penn State history. Every single day, felt like a tradition over 100 years now.
The word is definitely unbelievable. It's something that you don't really fathom until it's almost over, the fact that you're a part of such a long-lasting tradition. So I'm just honored to be here and chat with you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you. Did you know that you always wanted to be a mascot, coming to Penn State, or did that start once you were already here?
That started once I got here. In high school, we didn't have a mascot, and so there was no signs. I mean, there were definitely times where, being an avid Penn State fan and kind of a Penn State family, where I would see the Nittany Lion at certain events that we would do, and I would kind of have those thoughts like, oh, that's cool, whatever the Nittany Lion's doing. And then there was one moment where I had known who the Nittany Lion was at the time, Zach Soa, my predecessor. It was his final year, and I kind of knew. So because I knew that it was somebody from my hometown and even from my high school, it made it seem a little bit more feasible if I ever wanted to.
Yeah.
But I would say that it was nowhere really on my mind.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about auditioning. How many people did they take? I assume there's a lot of competition. So what did that look like for you?
So initially there's just the application form. So worked on that a bunch. I probably had my parents read over my answers to some of the questions about 5 times to make sure that it sounded really professional. After that, I was notified that I was accepted for the second round, which was an interview process with many judges. I'd say there were probably 12 judges sitting around a table, and I'm just sitting at the end of the table, nervous, and they just popcorn questions left and right. And then I was invited to round 3, the final round, which is the physical portion of the tryout. And that consists of a skit where you get to put on the suit and perform kind of like how I do on the field, about a minute and a half skit, followed by an improv session where they bring out a bag of props, you pick one, and then you have to do something unique with it. After that, you take the suit off, you do the cowbell song, because everybody needs more cowbell. And then that is capped off with 50 one-arm push-ups.
Wow. It's quite impressive to go from 1 round, second round, third round. And I bet when you were getting those emails back or calls back, you're like, I got to second round, got to the third round. It's a lot of hard work. And then the push-ups, I bet, are there some kids that can't do them? And then that eliminates you?
Well, if you make it to that third round and you have to do the 51 arm push-ups, everybody gets there no matter how ugly they look. Mine were probably pretty ugly. I mean, I definitely squeaked out the last 5, but I wasn't going to let anything. I mean, the adrenaline's pumping, nothing was going to stop me from getting to 50, but I definitely didn't know how to do them at first, and that normally I feel like turns a lot of people away from wanting to try out, but you got to start somewhere. I didn't know how to do a one-arm push-up when I found out about the tryout, and so I just kind of trained like anything else, like a marathon or something, and
you figure it out.
Learned it.
Yeah. So is there a particular characteristic or personality trait that made you stand out from the others, that made you get it?
I'm not sure. I guess just kind of being goofy and kind of, Zach Soa, the one before me, and I really have to piggyback off of something that he said when I had won, is you have to remember that everybody loves what you do, so you kind of can act like a 5-year-old and you get away with it.
True.
So I definitely think that there's some like goofiness involved, but I think also just kind of my creativity with the skits kind of helped me out. I just think that I think of skits all the time. I've been done for about a month now, but I still think of new things all the time, and I always write them down on my phone. So I feel like it's just kind of meant to be.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is there a former Nittany Lion, or are you the only one for the past few years?
I was the only Nittany Lion from February of my freshman year until Thon my freshman year until Thon this year.
Okay, so 3 full years. And then do you get your own costume, or is that passed down, annually?
Some of them are passed down, mainly the ones that I can fit in. But I do get suits that are tailored to me.
Okay, very interesting. Because what height do you need to be?
There is no height requirement. Before Zach Soa, there was Jack Davis and Michael Valania, and they were both around 5'8", 5'9", and then Zach Soa was 6'3", so there was a big jump. So I was able at the beginning to fill through his suits until I got the ones that were tailored more specifically to me.
Cool. Okay. And I know that you danced in Thon this year. Tell us a little bit about how that went, because you were going from costume to, you know, dancing with your friends on the stage and everything. So how was that?
That was tough. That was definitely the hardest thing that I've ever had to do, regardless of like any training or anything. That was just, it was hard to mentally push through the no sleep and then have to output so much energy when I'm the lion, but also I'm using so much energy while I'm dancing at Thon because it's so much fun.
Yeah.
So there was no like, you know, keeping in a bank some of my energy because I have to be the lion at the pep rally. I was just kind of going out and having fun, and it definitely took a toll, but it was the greatest experience of my time here at Penn State.
Yeah, not many people can, you know, for one, dance at Thon, and then two, to be a mascot. It's insane. And I know that you're also a part of the ROTC, so when do you have free time? And if you do have free time, what do you do?
So I noticed that the more limited my free time got, the more I actually started to pick up new things. For example, I would be so busy that if I got an hour, instead of just kind of slacking off, or like I can't just watch Netflix or binge TV shows. So I just kind of started picking up guitar and teaching myself in those free times. I just found new things to do. While doing training for the Army, I also like to go to the gym in my off time because that's kind of my safe space and like where I kind of just like let all the stresses of, you know, having a busy schedule and all that kind of stuff out. But I just noticed myself starting to pick up more things during my free time because I didn't know how to be lazy, sort of.
Yeah, no, I get that completely. That's awesome that you started the guitar.
Yeah.
It's impressive. How's that going?
You know, I think that I've made some brilliant strides, but I would never play for anybody else because I don't want to do them any harm. So.
What are some perks with being the mascot? Free room and board? What does that look like?
So there is a scholarship that comes with being the mascot. There is a, you know, full ride for the term that you are the mascot. So if it's 2 years, that's 2 years of free tuition. You do get some good gear. You get probably the most valuable thing that I received was the networking aspect of it. You meet so many alumni, the amount of people that I know that are in the job that I would like to be at later in my career that also were Army ROTC, but also graduated from Penn State. It's incredible. The networking that the Penn State Alumni Association, or just Penn State as a whole, has is incredible. And I've met thousands of people, and I have so many great relationships because of all of the things that I've gotten to do as the Nittany Lion.
Yeah, like one reason I chose Penn State was because I knew the networking is awesome.
Incredible.
We only have about a minute left. One thing I definitely wanted to ask you was, how do you have so much passion and pride for Penn State, and what are you going to take away from, you only have 1 month left, what are you going to take away from this?
I think the passion and pride is just kind of what Penn State teaches. Penn State is a very traditional school, and I really like that. The only place I applied was Penn State. That was the only place I was going. I wouldn't want to go anywhere else. I don't even know if there are other real colleges. But, you know, it's just something that is really near and dear to my heart and to my family. And I would say the biggest thing that I took away from Penn State and my position as the Lion was not to look back on college as like fun years of my life where I did some cool things, but more as a stepping stone to something greater that I'm going to do down the line.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you so
I
much for
really
having me.
appreciate it. This was awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Up next, Hannah and Brendan will be joining you with the latest Penn State national news. Stay tuned.